Hi Stampers, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'm going to show you how to create this card that's made with the Scalloped tag topper punch. And this is actually one of my customers saw one of these cards and asked me if I would do a video on how to make them. So you have two pieces here at the end of this side that flips open. And you also have one here, and they join together by putting the ribbon through and tying it off so it stays closed. So I'm going to show you how to make this card today. So here's a listing of all the supplies we're going to need. The stamps that I'm using is Party with Cake, and I use the It's Your Day on the inside of my card. And I use the Let's Party, Make a Wish, and Happy Birthday, all three of these on the front of my card right here. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the stamp set. The only ink color we need is Melon Mambo. And I've gone ahead and cut some of the items that we need just to save time. I'm using the butterfly from the Butterfly Thinlits die, which come in 3 pieces. And I'm using this middle one here. And the Big Shot die brush really works well to get all of the little pieces out. So if you don't have one of those yet, it's brand new in the Occasions 2016 catalog, and I really like the way it works. For punches, we're using the Bitty Butterfly Punch and the Scalloped Tag Topper Punch. For cardstock layers, we're going to be using Melon Mambo, and you need a piece that measures 5.5 by 8 3/8. We're going to score twice at 3 1/4 and 7.5, and I'm going to show you why we do that. And we also need just a scrap piece to cut out one of our little butterflies. We need Soft Sky. We need one piece that measures 5 1/4 by 4. A second piece that measures 5 1/4 by 2 1/8, and another scrap piece to cut another butterfly. For the designer paper, I'm using the Birthday Bouquet from the Occasions catalog. 2 pieces again, 5 by 1 7/8 and 5 by 1/2 inch. And lastly, Whisper White, 5 by 3 3/4 inches. And I just put 1/2 inch here by whatever because they're just 3 scrap pieces, 1/2 inch wide. It doesn't matter how long they are because we're going to stamp the sentiment across and then cut with scissors. You need a piece of ribbon that measures about 12 inches, and I'm using the Pool Party Glimmer ribbon. I had used the white seam binding on this one, but I thought I'd use a different color just to show you what that looks like. And finally, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a paper piercer, and a pack of pearl jewels. So let's get started on creating the card. You will also need a ruler and a pencil. So using the Melon Mambo cardstock, we're going to score our 2 score lines. And again, those are going to be at 3 1/4 on the first one, and 7.5 on the second one. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to bring my ruler in, and what we're going to measure is, what we need to do is actually put this cardstock in this way, and the easiest way I found to be able to center that is to measure 1 inch and put it off on the inside a little bit so that when you insert this, and if you haven't used one of these punches, this is a 2-inch groove where you slide your tag in to punch it. Well, our paper is wider than the 2 inches. So what we need to do, I usually grab my 2 index fingers, hold the punch, and slide it all the way in. And I'll show you here, my 1 inch mark is right even with the edge of the punch. So make sure that that's pushed in all the way on both sides. And you're going to punch, and that's what creates your little tag. You're going to do the same thing by flipping this over, and again, just go in a couple inches, another inch mark, and we're going to do the same thing. Grab onto the punch with my index fingers, go up to the 1 inch mark, and punch. Now I'm going to use my eraser to remove my 2 1 inch measurements. And we're going to bring in our paper cutter. And now what we're going to do is cut off these 2 tabs. So I line this up so that the tabs right here are into the cutting track. And then, oops, that's my scoring tool. And you can feel when you get into the groove. And I can see that I need to move over just a tad more. And I'm going to go up top and do the same thing on this one. So now I've removed both tabs. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. One and 2. So this is what your cardstock piece should look like once all your tabs are removed. Now I'm going to bring in my bone folder to fold on the score lines. And because I just cut here, I'm going to actually press down just to flatten that out a little bit, because you do have a little bit of the groove. And I can see here that I'm still not happy with the way this looks. So I'm going to trim it a little bit more with my scissors. There, that looks better. And now we just need to fold the tab over that we created with the scallop punch. And that's what your card looks like. And you're going to thread the ribbon through. But now let's glue our layers in place. And I'm going to start by doing the inside of my card. The soft sky layer. Followed by the whisper white layer, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment first. And what you need to try to remember is that when you glue this in place, you want to keep the sentiment over to the left hand side so that it's covered. You don't want something sticking out over here. So make sure it's on the left hand side on the inside. I'm going to bring in my image. And then we will glue that in place. So now I'm going to add snail to the back. And that goes right here. And this little piece of designer paper is going to go on the right edge of the white. And that sits even on all 3 sides. So that's what the inside of my card looks like. All I have left now to do is to add the 2 butterflies. So I'm going to cut one with the soft sky and one with the melon mambo. And I'm going to glue those in place. You know, I just changed a light bulb in my studio, and here it is, the dead of winter. It's been very warm here in Maine, and that was a housefly that you saw sitting on my hand. When I changed the light bulb, it was in there, believe it or not. Okay, so I put my butterflies so that they would peek out over to the side of the card. Now let's finish off the front. And again, we're going to have a layer of soft sky. And I'm going to follow that with a layer of designer paper. And this would be pretty on this side too. But I'm going to make this card look just like the other one. And I actually have another one to show you when I'm done assembling this one. Okay, and that's going to go right there. Now I'm going to bring in the 3 pieces of Whisper White that are 1/2 inch wide, and we're going to stamp the 3 sentiments. So make a wish, let's party, and lastly, happy birthday. Let me put the ink away so I don't get anything dirty. And what I did is I just grabbed my paper snips and I snipped close to the edge on all 3 of these. Close to the edge of my stamping is what I mean. And now we just need to glue them in place. So let me bring my card back in. And I started at the bottom just so I'd have enough room for my butterfly. So this one's about 1/4 inch above the designer paper. And then we're going to add the happy birthday. Whoops, that was upside down. And you could actually put these a little cockeyed a little bit, but I'm just going to keep going with doing them straight. So there's my wording. Now we're going to add the butterfly. I'm just going to add liquid glue in the center. And you want to make sure that you have room there for your ribbon when you place this down, and you also want to keep it to the inside of your card so it fits in the envelope. And I added a string of pearl jewels, and the pearl jewels that we have through Stampin' Up, there's 3 strings here, and I usually use my X-Acto knife to cut off when I need just singles. I don't seem to use these strings as much as most people do. And then on this one, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to peel that off and add that to the body. Okay, and that's what the card looks like so far. So all we need to do is run the ribbon through the scallops. So this is what ties your card closed. So if you wanted to add a message, you should add it down here just so it doesn't peek through. And be very careful when you're tying these so you don't pull too tight to tear your scallop tag topper shape. And just tie these into a bow. And then we'll just bring in the scissors and cut these at an angle. And there you have it. That's my card for today. Oh, and I did want to show you another one I made using the Botanical Gardens suite that's also found in the Occasions catalog. What I did is I had 1 piece of designer paper and I used the die to cut the border, and I added the 2nd piece. So this was all 1 piece, and I just split them in half, put one on this side and glued one on this side. And then I just added the leaves and the flowers. And I was trying to resemble these flowers here, and I can't remember what those are called. So I folded them in half, one over each other. And again, if you open this, I have the sentiment on the inside. So this makes for a really nice card too. So I hope you enjoyed my video for today. And if you have any questions, make sure you email me or leave a message on my YouTube video. I'll have a list of supplies at the end. And thanks so much for stopping in. Bye-bye.